My name is Randall Eggert. This class is Grammar and Stylistics. It's about writing clearly.
Sentence structure. In this video, we're going to be going over sentence structure. We'll be looking at the basic structure for English sentences. And the basic structure in English always hinges on two things. Every sentence has a subject, a noun phrase, and a predicate, a verb phrase. So, for example, we can take a simple sentence like, the girl loves the dog, which has its subject, the girl, and its verb phrase, loves the dog, which consists of a verb, loves, and an object, the dog. In addition to that basic structure, we sometimes find that things come either before or after. So, for example, you can get something before the subject, or we can get something after the predicate. We call that an adverbial. Notice it's not an adverb per se, it's an adverbial. So adverbials consist of adverbs, not surprisingly, but it can also be a preposition phrase, or it could even be a participle phrase. But the point is that that is sort of tacked on to an optional element in it. So, for example, you could get, unfortunately, the dog ran away on Tuesday. So you have this adverbial at the beginning, the adverb unfortunately, and an adverbial at the end, on Tuesday. You still have your noun phrase subject and your verb phrase predicate. In addition, we can tack on subordinate clauses. Subordinate clauses are not sentences by themselves, although they are built out of sentences. So a subordinate clause has a sentence, but in front of that sentence, you have a subordinator, what's sometimes called a subordinating conjunction. I don't like that term so well, so I prefer the term subordinator. Here are some examples of subordinators: because, unless, whether, that, while, if, although, since, when. Those are all subordinators that can combine together with a sentence to form a subordinate clause. And then once you have a subordinate clause, and we're going to label those with this little prime symbol. For historical reasons, we call that a bar in linguistics. So we call that an S bar. That's just my notation so that we know that that's a subordinate clause. So you saw that in the previous one, subordinator plus an S forms a subordinate clause. And now you get that subordinate clause can combine together with a main clause, which is going to be these S's here, to form a complex sentence. The subordinate clause can either come before or after the main clause, the independent sentence. So I like to think of subordinate clauses as parasites. They can't survive all by themselves. They need to glom onto another sentence so that they can have a life. So here's an example of of complex sentences. Because I was late, that's our subordinate clause, I missed class. So, because I was late, I missed class. Subordinate clause followed by a main clause. Or you can get the main clause first, followed by the subordinate clause. Either one is grammatical in English. The other thing that we need to understand is, again, what is our definition of subject? In grammar school, you might have been taught that the subject is the doer of the action, which is a terrible definition for all sorts of reasons. First of all, not every sentence involves an action, But even when there is an action, we can do something in English, which is to passivize a sentence, which takes what normally would have been the object and promotes it to a subject position, meaning that that's now the subject of the sentence. So you've got a sentence like, I saw the bear, can be turned into the bear was seen, and that's clearly the subject of the sentence. So we need a better definition than the doer of the action. Instead, we're going to say that the subject of a sentence is the noun phrase daughter of a sentence. So here we're using the metaphor, the analogy of a family tree, except for eliminating all of the males. So we only have mothers and daughters. This is our mother. These are our daughters. So the noun phrase daughter of an S is the subject of a sentence. So, as an example, the daughter loves her mother. Here, the daughter, that noun phrase there, is the subject of that sentence. We can also define object in the same way. So the grammar school definition is the one that has the action done to it. Again, a terrible definition. A much better definition is to think of it structurally. So again, we've got our mother, the verb phrase, and its daughter, noun phrase. So an object of a verb is the noun phrase daughter of a VP. The mother loves her daughter. This noun phrase here is the object of the verb phrase loves her daughter. And then we can also give a definition for object of a preposition, which is very simple. Again, we've got our mother and we've got our daughter noun phrase. So an object of a preposition is the noun phrase daughter of a preposition phrase. The man loves the mother of his daughter. We've got our preposition phrase right here. And again, his daughter is our noun phrase, object of that preposition phrase.